Hello and welcome to Worldwide Wiggy. We are doing our weekly podcast. Today is Thursday, February 13th, and we kind of missed last weekend, but we have got some stuff to talk about today, and we have to talk about it because it is just shocking for me. I don't even know what to say.
Shock is a good word.
Yeah, shock is a really good word. So, I don't know how many of you guys have seen the volcano documentary that came out a few years ago about the volcano island down in New Zealand, where they had a bunch of people go down there for like a tour, and
they ignored all the warning signs.
and there was an eruption. And, I was just like, as much as James and I travel, I said to him, I'm like, when they're saying that you have to wear a gas mask and, out of a 3-stage level, what was it, a 2?
It was at the 3. And then on top of
3
it
is active eruption. I thought that it was a 2.
Okay.
And yeah.
So, but every 3 years, the volcano explodes, and it happened to be the 3rd year when these tours were going on.
And, I'm not doing that. Okay, so.
In fact, so we were discussing about our possible trip to the Greek islands. One of the day trips from a possible Greek island is to go see an active volcano, and Doreen and I were both like, no, it's not something you want to do.
Absolutely not happening. It's just not worth it. Not worth it. So we went to the Dalmatian coast in July, and I'm not really sure if we talked a little bit about it, I think, on some previous episodes, but one of the things, it started in Athens, and it covered Athens, Santorini, Olympia, Corfu, Greece. And then we swung up into Montenegro and did Couture, Montenegro. That's a podcast in itself, because that was just an amazing day. Then we did Šibenik. We did Dubrovnik first. Šibenik, and then we went to Venice. And it was a 7 or 8 day cruise. Okay, so one of the stops was Santorini, and we, to be honest with you, it really was not on my top 10 list, I would say, but because it was on the cruise, it was a great benefit. I've had friends that have gone to Santorini and loved it. We've never been there. It wasn't on my list, really.
Except we've always been fascinated with the history of the island and its volcanic origins. We've always been interested in that story.
Right, because if you don't know, Santorini is part of a crater. It's a caldera, and it's crescent-shaped form, and there's a lot of theories about when the volcano exploded. It was a huge deal on that part of the world. They have some type of estimate of what the island looked like beforehand, but it was a huge deal, and the island itself is completely made of pumice, and we learned when we went there, I guess, I know the map of Santorini, but we learned that the island in the middle is the volcano itself. It's not inhabited, and there isn't anybody there. And when we showed up in the boat that morning, it was really foggy. Well, I started kind of digging around on the internet about the fog, because I wanted to see if we were going to have,
if it was going to
clear up, if we were going to have a nice day. And what I learned is in the early morning, when the volcano is warmer than the air on the outside, is typically when the dragon fog comes in, and that's what they call it.
So you get this nice layer of fog because the water is heating up and evaporating and making a nice cloud around the base of the island. Straight out of King Kong stuff. And then you go to this island, and it's beautiful, you gotta say.
Oh, it's absolutely, the views are, the water, the views, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
But then they explain to you what happened 10,000 years ago.
Right.
And what basically happened is that the volcano erupted, and it was a huge volcanic eruption, shook the ancient world, and then just when you thought it was safe, the water then goes into the crater to where there's more hot magma, And the water forms steam in that narrow chamber and basically becomes a second bomb. It's like an underwater bomb that explodes again. And they said that the shock and the flash could be seen for 100 miles. So this is not exactly the place you want to be when that goes off. And we're bringing this up because
So I'm at choir today. I'm at choir practice today. Tonight, right now. I just got home. And this one sends me an article from the New York Times.
That basically explains that they've literally had...
No, Maggie. My dog is right here. Sorry, guys. And she's got a wiggle butt.
Thousands of earthquakes since...
Why don't you come up here? Come on up here. You can be in our podcast.
Since the middle of January. And it's frightening the islanders enough that out of 15,000 residents, what is it, 13,000 have evacuated?
15,500 residents, 13,000 of them have evacuated. Today, like as of February 13th, they only have 2,500 residents on the island.
And they're talking multiple earthquakes per day. I mean, just...
And since January 6th, how many did they say since January 6th?
Thousands.
Thousands of them. And 13 of them were over 4?
Yeah, in one day. I mean, you're hearing these stories and you're going, this may be a sign not to go to Santorini this year. But...
This year? I called him up on the ride home from choir practice and I was like, we're never going again. Never. Bless you.
The interesting thing is this is one of our lectures about you have to be flexible when you're making your plans. This is one of our lectures that you have to have contingency plans. You have to be able to be flexible in your travel arrangements. We were planning on going back to the Greek islands a little bit later this year. We
scheduled another trip, but it didn't have anything to do with the volcano. Let's be honest.
But
I'll tell you, if we had not rescheduled our trip to the one that we're taking today, I would be calling Azamara and scheduling a different trip.
Yeah, I mean, so
I said that to him in the car. We just rescheduled our trip a week ago. We're gonna go to Ireland in 2026 on Azamara, but it's something, it's just what we want to do. But had we not already done that, we would have rescheduled for sure.
Yeah, because travel is supposed to be fun and it's not supposed to be placing your life at risk. You're supposed to be experiencing, supposed to be enjoying the culture, the people, the food, not being the star of the next documentary on Netflix about a volcano exploding nearby. They've got tsunami warnings in Turkey and Greece.
And there's the first cruise ship of the season that was supposed to dock in Santorini and went to Crete instead.
And we should explain, the best parts of visiting Santorini are up on the cliffs.
It's beautiful. And we'll post some shorts on our travel YouTube channel so that you guys can see some of our pictures and some of our video from Santorini, because it's amazing. So Santorini has a cable car system, how they get people up and down. I mean, there is a pathway that's like 500 steps or something, and it's where the donkeys walk up, and it stinks because they whatever on there.
You can take a road up
the long way. So when we came to port in Santorini, we tendered to the other side of the island where the buses for our excursions all waited for us. And then we took this road that went up, and this was not at Fira or Ia, which are the two cities that we ended up seeing. It was at the other end of the island. So we drove literally the whole area of the island and then came back we did Ia, which is on one side of the crescent, and then we did Fira, which is the capital, and enjoyed a nice lunch there, and then that's where the cable car is that takes you down to the beach.
And the fear is Really? Do you want to ride on a cable car when they're experiencing a 4-point-something earthquake?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure the cable car system is safe and it is built for that type of.
No, you can't be on a cable car when you're having that kind of. There's so many earthquakes. They're having so many per day that, and the experts are saying that they're not. So right now there's like a warning out until March 3rd, and they're not sure. They're not ruling out a bigger or earthquake. I can't even believe it. Santorini is so beautiful. And a lot of their houses and stuff are built into the mountains there. So, I mean, they're built to kind of handle that. It just blows my mind. We were just there. I don't even know what to say.
So, my advice this year, maybe find an island. Besides, Santorini's got a problem with the number of cruise ships as it is coming in there.
They do. They have a lot of cruise ships coming in.
And while we were there was another cruise ship right in the harbor.
There were two. There were two other cruise ships.
And that caused a backup at the.
No, it was not bad in the morning, but not in the afternoon when we came back.
Oh no, when we came down, there was practically no line.
And I'm going to just tell you, it's really beautiful. I loved Ia. It was really, the narrow streets, the beautiful blue domed buildings. I mean, my photographs are phenomenal, and I just put a bunch of woven rugs in my Etsy store that have there are my pictures, and they're just beautiful of Santorini.
The food there is incredible. It's seafood. It's you're in the Mediterranean. The view is just unbelievable.
We got a restaurant all the way at the top in Fiera, and we had an amazing view of the caldera from up there. You have to walk really far, and it's all uphill. So you look like crap when you get up there because you're sweating, and you hurt because the buses and the cars can only go so far, and then you have to walk the rest of the way. Yeah. So James was ready to be I'm done, and turn around. And I'm like, but the restaurant's right up those steps.
Yeah, we passed a dozen gelato places along the way handing out free samples. Could have stopped at any one of those, but no, we had to go to the restaurant at the very tippy top.
I mean, I understand why, right? You pay for an excursion and they want you to have the best view. And it was wonderful. And the dinner was great. I mean, it was fresh fish and salad, and it was really, really wonderful meal. Wonderful meal.
And the view was incomparable, but at the same time, it was hot.
It was really hot. Yeah, we went in August, so yeah, it was really hot. And it was, we're obviously not the most fit couple, but there was so much that we had already done. Because, we climbed to the Acropolis just the day or two before that. And, this was brutal. It was brutal.
What was interesting was the cruise ship had changed the excursion from being moderate. Remember that?
Yeah, to severe.
To strenuous.
To strenuous, just a few weeks before the trip. So we had already booked it, and then they changed it to strenuous. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was really strenuous. Yeah, you're going to want to follow those little indicators.
Yeah, when they say strenuous, they mean it.
But Santorini was beautiful. I will say that. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous island. Yeah.
And
I hope, for all your sakes, that if you haven't been to Santorini, I hope it's around where you can go back. But I don't know if James and I will ever go back after this whole thing, because I ain't stepping foot on no active volcano after that volcano documentary. Nope.
So a seismologist did tell the BBC that he's hoping that by the end of February, things will have died down.
But there's no guarantee.
And he did say that, on the other hand, this could all just be a precursor to a really, really big earthquake.
Yeah. And again, the caldera, right, is in the middle. The island, the island in the middle of the caldera is the volcano itself. And nobody lives there.
And remember, if the first eruption doesn't get you, the
second one will. Okay, that's it for today's episode. Y'all have a great day.